Franchella.
And Lynette.
Hey, we want to talk about this brother that we have in the building right now. OMG. I personally had the pleasure of going to see one of his stage plays. But before that, it's so funny how in this industry, you really don't know everybody. And I got a text from my sister-in-law who said, hey, I have somebody that wants to honor Dorian at their play. You know, he's the writer and producer of this production. I'm like, well, what's his name? I'm thinking I know who he is. And I actually didn't even know you, but it was a pleasure to meet you, to come and to see your show, and to connect with you. So right now we have Brad Baker in the building, and Lynette's going to give you a little background on Brad.
Okay, so welcome to the Real Recognized Real.
Thank you.
On Philly Hot Radio, Brad. So Brad is an actor. He's also a writer and a model who now has his own production company, Brad Baker Productions.
Yes.
BBD. So Brad has acted in several stage plays, film, as well as web series. He also wrote his hit stage play that, Twisted Her Life?
Twisted Her Life, His Secret.
Okay, that's wrong. Twisted Her Life, His Secret, which he later turned into a successful book under the same title. So fresh off the production of his hit stage play this November was his first project, Chasing Cash, which he produced. And it was a sold-out show.
Yes.
So congratulations and welcome to the show, Brad.
Thank you.
Yes.
So
yes.
tell us a little bit about Chasing Cash.
So Chasing Cash was a hilarious story I told about this girl named Paige, who was fleeing her ex-boyfriend who was implicated in some illegal actions. So she fled him and ended up coming back to Philadelphia to start her life over again. And as she came back to Philadelphia, she ended up going to a restaurant where she was familiar with, where she grew up at, and she meets a waiter named Chase, who was a waiter. He was in school to be a social worker, and she finds new love in this guy, Chase. And Chase is a waiter, so we deal with the storyline of basically a woman making more money than a man and how he deals with that dynamic. And then also we had our villain, which his name is Cash, hence the name Chasing Cash, who was doing insider trading, but he was implicated, so he was trying to come back to win her over to basically marry her so she can exonerate him from all the charges. But as they come back to the restaurant has their own problems as well, where they're basically going through some financial trouble, hence the name Chasing Cash, because everyone's chasing cash in some type of way. And they're trying to find different ways to keep the restaurant open, different hilarious ideas to keep it open. And we deal with a roller coaster of laughs, drama, angry, a lot of things that we set pieces up on the board to try to make people follow along and, make it interesting, to try to do little twists and turns to kind of throw the audience off, so it's not so much predictable as traditionally. And I hope I was able to embody that with the play itself.
Absolutely. So I commend you, because a lot of our young brothers are not doing the right thing. So I commend you for walking the straight and narrow path and making a name for yourself in the industry.
Thank you.
And I had the pleasure of going to see Chasing Cash, which was phenomenal, and what also drew me to it and to you, because after I learned about, you having this production, and thank you so much for honoring my nephew Dorian Dumas, who was an inspiration to you. Absolutely. So rest in peace, Dorian.
Rest in peace, Dor.
Yes, long live Dor. Yes, awesome. And so I started stalking your page, of course, because that's what I do. And to see, well, first of all, your first production was called Twisted, and of course my play was Twisted Seasons, not even knowing. So we already had a connection there already.
Bring you together.
Yes, already. Besides Door, and just the fact that you had you gave it your all. You have a awesome design set. You know, I go to a lot of productions and they just have a chair thrown on the stage, a couch thrown on the stage, and it doesn't look presentable at all. And then, you know, they're not giving their all, because I think setting the stage says everything. That's why you can be compared to Tyler Perry, because you are giving the audience their money's worth. And I think that's commendable.
Thank you.
So just tell us a little bit about this journey and the success of it, and how easy or hard was it for you?
It was super hard. You know, first I started off as an actor. My good friend Tony Anderson, who works for BET, he's the one that put the bug in me about writing. He was like, Brad, you always tell real good stories, whether it's something personally happening in my life. He's like, yo, you should try to write. I'm like, I don't know what to write. So a couple of stories came out and I ended up starting writing. But the process was long. It's a 7-year journey for me. I'm still working. This is probably, we was trying to master the process this time. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about anything but mastering our process. That's why I wrote Chasing Cash. It took me about 2 months to write Chasing Cash. But before I did Twisted, I did 800-seat venue, 100 people showed up. I had promoters come there that did it. They didn't believe in it. I gave 500 tickets away for free. I was like, if I hand these tickets out, I'm going to gain a fan. The money's already gone. The water's under the bridge. I can't change that. I can only control what I can control. I gave it out. So that 500 turned into, all right, I got some fan base. They was like, I loved it. So I was like, I'm going to revamp this script and I'm going to change it into something else and modernize it. I'm going to make it my own. So I did that, and then I sold out the whole entire weekend, 2,400 seats.
Wow.
Yes.
And I was like, all right, now it's popping. So I was like, all right, now I know what I got to do. My set was rinky dink, but I was like, all right, I need to get a better set, because visually on stage, those sets look amazing. So I was like, we have to focal point on customer service, giving a great product, which we already have, and having a set so when people feel like they got their money's worth. Because I was trying to change the mold, because I'm young, I'm 34, so I was trying to change the mold of plays. A lot of people, not to knock everybody,
No, knock them.
certain styles, you know, I was in stage before, certain plays that I was in, I don't like certain urban theater because they're like ratchet, and I feel like we miss a big set in it when we don't send messages to our community. It's our responsibility to take those platforms to engage and provide knowledge, not so much like message, you know, but some things that we need to be informed about in certain ways where you kind of bring light to certain situations and make it funny and modern. You know, those things are already cool, but you know, with those, there's a lot of singing, a lot of shucking and jiving, and a lot of things that are so predictable. So I just try to change the culture for the people who are like me, kind of like me and Dor, the people that would never attend a play. So when you come in there, you gain the experience. You're like, dang, that was really good. You felt like you were in a movie. You felt like you was a part of it. You know, you felt attached to the characters, and that was pretty much my goal to it all. And I think I came across this well.
So Alicia Coley says she can't wait until you bring the play to Atlanta.
Yes,
and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Leash. Thank you. Yeah, so yeah, we plan on touring this thing as well. You know, that was part of the process too.
Right. And how did you create this great team of people surrounding you? Because I know, as a playwright myself, director, producer, thank you so much. It's hard to actually get a good team together to help you through everything. Like Twisted Seasons, you know, I wrote it, I cast it, I directed it, I produced it, I had to do the music, I had to do the set, the wardrobe, everything. It was Franchella, and it can become overwhelming.
Absolutely.
Now, and I did it on a smaller scale than you, because you know his play, Chasing Cash, as I just showed you the playbill here, was at Suzanne Roberts Theater, which holds, I believe, 375 seats, and all 3 nights it was sold out. And you know, to do that, to have the fan base to sell out and have an awesome team, as everybody was introduced on your stage. Besides the actors and the actresses, you had the backstage and the crew and everybody come out. Which is great. How did you find these people. Or,
So it was trial and error. So being in theater, I worked with a lot of them before. A lot of them actors. My director, Walter DeShields, I've acted with him on the stage several times. Fee Goodson, I act with her as well. Kyra, I've known for years. I just met Bianca, and Larnell was actually my intern. I reached out. I was looking for interns for it. My team with Crystal and Aaron, I met through Crystal. Crystal started off as my publicist, and then we gained a relationship where I was like, I think you need to be my EP. You're bigger than that. We can find somebody else to fill that void, to do that job when we need it. And she introduced me to Aaron, and me and Aaron just hit off for the moment. Aaron did big concerts with bringing DMX and Monica in the city. So when we talked, he had no familiarity with doing stage plays, but he believed in me based upon what I pitched to him. I'm like, hey, I really got something going here. It's really, really good. And he blind faithed it, and we just took off from there. Like, the biggest portion of when we discussed it is building a team. Because doing that, I was doing the same thing as you, and that's why I was getting lost. And that was why I only had 100 people in, because I'm acting, I'm directing, I'm building a stage, I'm with the light, I'm casting. So it's too many hats for me to wear. So it's all about building a team, word of mouth, and people directing me to the smarter people in the room. That's what I'm big on, is finding people that are smarter than me in those niches to form a team that'll help me drive to do that. Because people see that as, oh, that's a Brad Baker production, but my team did that. I was not at a rehearsal.
I know that's boss. That's some boss stuff. Like, I'm at every you don't know.
If you follow my page, I come in real quick, 5 minutes, get a quick behind the scenes clip, and I leave out. I leave the professionals to do what they do, and then I leave out. I talked to Walter. We went over the script probably for like 2 months to see, all right, do we got everything we need? Are we missing anything? And we found out what we need. After that, that's yours. Now I got to work on the marketing and stuff like that. So yeah.
Right. That wow is. I mean that you right now you already at the boss level. When you don't have to go to rehearsals, I'm grinding at every rehearsal, bringing in snacks.
That's trust right there, because if you just have trust in your people, and you to know that, okay, I don't even have to show up. I know they got me. So that's awesome.
Well, they getting paid too.
They getting paid too.
They getting paid too.
I pay my staff. Like, I make sure I pay them. You got to take care of your team. If anything, I'd rather not make money and make sure they get paid.
Right, but this is still your vision.
Right.
And so for you to entrust them with your vision and not to be present and seeing how are things going, that's trust.
Yeah,
that is trust.
That's trust. Some people be like,
yeah, I'm a little controlling sometimes too, but
I'm too controlling.
You got that trust. I got control. I'm really
too controlling.
But I kind of I had to. It was stressing me out that I was so controlling.
Right.
And you have to let those hats go, because if you don't, you'll drive yourself crazy.
Yes.
And then when you're chasing one thing, another thing blows up, instead of just putting people in place to watch all the exits.
Absolutely.
Instead of you trying to say, oh, this is one fire, let me go here. Oh, it's another fire. I can just take care of that.
And I'm a perfectionist, so it's really hard for me to let go. I will delegate, but I'm on you. I'm constantly on you, especially when my name is behind something. Right. You have Brad Baker Productions behind this. You're out there trying to get your name out there, your brand, and so it has to be right. I know a lot of things might happen along the way, and you fix it, but it's still your brand, and you don't want your brand to be in any negative light.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, and I make sure that's why I put it's a grueling thing. I'm really good on observation. Is probably one of my my biggest strengths, is I key to observation. When I talk to people, I look at body language. I'm big on signs, so I ask you what your sign is, so I know how hard you're gonna work for me, or what I might think your weakness is, or things of that nature. But it's a grueling process. It's just not like, hey, can I work for you? Wow. It's like, all right, give me some examples. What can you do? All right, here's a task. Let me see if you can do that. Right. And if you're able to bring me back the task that I need, and it's right, then we go from there. But it's a grueling process, because Walter DeShields has been my director to all my things. Mm-hmm. We have a strict vision on how it is. If you don't want to come in here and work hard, then we don't need you.
Right. Because
we're building from the ground up. I'm using all local actors. I don't use any. I can go pay for a major name like Vivica Fox or somebody like that, but in the mix, could have paid for you to come in and do it. But I just chose to just do it the ground way. I study a lot of people. Charlie Mack, I had a really good conversation with him when I first started doing it. He was like, yo, if you really want to do this, you need to go study everybody that's great from top to bottom. You need to study scripts, and you need to go back to school. I did all of the above. And then he was at my show like, All
Yeah.
right, when I come back, we need to talk about making this in a movie or whatever the case may be.
That was my next
And
question.
I was like, all right, we go. But yeah, I wrote movies before. I got a bank heist called Imperfect Fate that I wrote. That's really, really good. And then I got a bunch of plays that I wrote. I took like 2 years off to write, just to get my writing in process. And I wrote 3 plays within that time frame, and I'm just ready to roll from there. Just getting them
So
together.
I know you have Letters of a Mistress.
Yeah, Letter from a Mistress.
Coming up in
2 Truths and a
this
Lie.
spring.
Yes.
This spring.
Yep.
So,
So that's about 3 couples that are married, and a letter drops that one of them are sleeping with one of their husbands, and you got to figure out who's sleeping with who. It's a lot
is
of.
it casted already?
No, it is not casting. I do auditions for everything. Like I just don't cast anybody. When I got into plays, I got a lead role in a big play. I got paid $1,000 to do it. I never forget it. So I was just trying out for a play. It was like I was in this short film, and it was like, "Hey, won't you come try out for this play?" I'm like, "All right." So I was just trying to get on stage and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And then walk off the stage and be like, "Mom, I was in the play."
Right.
I had to be. And then I ended up getting the lead role. So I was like, "Hold up!" So I always kept that in the back of my mind. So like, you never know what gem you
Absolutely.
may find by having someone in the background. So I have an open audition for everybody. Of course, I know a lot of people in the Philadelphia acting world that are really, really good, but I leave that open for everybody. And we have, every time I cast, we have at least 60 to 70 people that come out.
Wow, that's great. Well, Lynette's here. She's an actress. She was in my play, Twisted Seasons.
I am.
So yeah.
I prefer to do TV and film.
Really? Oh, 'cause the cut-
over stage.
I love that stage. I like the energy of the stage. I like writing.
I like stage, but it's time consuming for an actress.
Yeah, because you got to memorize. It's active listening.
Exactly.
It's listening.
And you have to rehearse on your own time, and then you have to go to rehearsal.
Right.
So it's like, okay.
It's
Yeah, it's just
accelerating. That's next level acting when you're able to do that. So then when you go to TV and film,
It's nothing.
It's nothing.
Yeah,
That's why
it's
I'm-
just
nothing.
that's why
bigger.
I-
You just dial it down. And it's
A
simple.
quick question for you.
That's what I like to do.
For all your people that you know that have some kind of connections, how do you feel that they are supportive to you?
Like family and
As far as
friends.
information.
Well, it could be family, friends, or just people that's in the industry. You go to them, you say, "Hey, I got this," because I have a lot of people around me that I know that can make some power moves for me,
Right.
but don't. So I'm asking you, do you?
Right. You got to try.
Sometimes people are like, this
Yeah,
is
they-
information.
Yeah, they are. I'm not like that because it's a lot of people like that. You have to stick to your process because they will come back. We have a mantra in there. They have to they're going to want to cross this bridge again, and not to be. That's not a cocky thing. It's like we try to reach out to certain people to do certain things, but they don't believe it because they don't see what you see until everyone sees it.
Right.
I try to reach out to a lot of people. Some people they're real helpful with certain things, but others aren't.
Right.
But that's a part of my team and trusting them. So say, hey, they're not going to let us go through this door. Well, let's figure out how we can get to the back door ourselves
Absolutely.
and get in the building ourselves, whether it be a window or a crack in the door.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I
You know, because if you waiting on somebody else, you never get the opportunity. Some people are so stingy when it comes to that, and I hate in our culture that we do that to each other.
Absolutely.
Because if I got information, I'm willing to give you everything I got. I will give you my set designer, my production team,
Right, absolutely.
my director, my whatever. You know, I always want them to grow. I always
Right.
want them. My actors, you want an actor's name. You interested in someone or Brad? How did you do that? How did you come up with that concept? What do you do as far as writing? I'm willing to
Absolutely.
get that all. We're actually about to open up a studio to teach performing arts to teach children and adults how to do the things I do. I want them to know my process from beginning to
Absolutely.
end. And it's a lot of hard work. You know what I mean? You got to be willing to put in the time. Like we put in a lot of time. People just see the bang and the glory
finished product.
and the money spent on commercials and
Right, absolutely.
TV and radio, you know.
So this last one, how did you? I know you were saying that the first couple of times you lost out, and the second time you broke even. So how was this last production for you?
Exactly how the process was going from the beginning to end. It's just exactly how we're on pace on what we're doing.
Right.
So this was a stepping stone to where we were going.
Right, absolutely.
That sold out
Awesome.
show. All right, we're not losing so much money on self-inflicted wounds. Like this is transparency. My last play, Twisted Reloaded, we probably lost maybe $12,000 in negligence of things that we could have prevented.
Wow.
You know,
Right.
so
But without the knowledge,
oh, it was
you
worth
didn't know.
every penny. That
That's what I'm
$12,000 was not to say it's nothing. $12,000 is
Right.
a lot of money, but
Right.
that knowledge that I gained for it. They same thing when we only had 100 people, and I was like, I had a partner with me. He was so upset. I was like, what? You can have whatever money is left over. I'm like, what we just learned this time, we got it. We're gonna build off of this. And some people don't see it. I see it. I was like, oh, we got it. And the same thing happened this time, and then we built off. We'll learn. We'll have our rap meeting. It's probably a bunch of stuff we learned from. I know we learned a lot this time around. You know.
What is your sign?
I'm a Capricorn.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Christmas Day baby. Yeah, everything.
Would you turn it into a web series?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a web series. I'm gonna do a bunch of stuff. So people push me to do certain things, so I'm gonna start doing them. So I'm gonna do web series, stage plays. I'll do movies. For me, with movies, I don't want a low budget movie. I want some money behind me when I do my movies. I want cars flipping over. I want to see bullets drop. I want fire. I want it done right. You know, perfectionist like me.
Yes.
Web series, I can do that.
Well,
I can do a little for you.
If you're auditioning for a web series, I'm interested.
I'm gonna do a web series, so I'm gonna hold you to that. Yeah. So I'm gonna probably do a web series. I got a couple things after we finish up the last little details to Letter from a Mistress. Then we'll go in. I just see, and I'm probably gonna write a spinoff to Chasing Cash with those hilarious Mr. Tony and Mr. Bernard. So I'm gonna probably write something like that.
Right, absolutely. Because everybody,
Those they're crazy. But I
Right.
knew that. I knew it when I was writing it. I was like, oh, this is funny. Like,
Well, you know, with me, with both my Olivia Lawson Turned Out as well as Twisted Seasons, I just need comedy relief in everything that I do, you know, and I think that helps, even though the storyline is really good and there's some drama going on, you know, and even with yours, you know, Chasing Cash, but that comedy relief really, really helps out, you know, and yeah, absolutely. So what can people, do you have any more questions for
Nope, that's my last question.
Okay.
How can people follow you?
yeah, how can people follow you?
You can follow me on at Brad Baker Productions on Instagram, and then my Facebook page is Brad Baker Productions. On Facebook, you can like there. That's all my information is on there. My website is bradbakerproductions.com, so I got a bunch of stuff on there. I don't have a Twitter handle. Facebook, I'm Brad Baker, but I don't got no more room on my friends list. Like, not to say I have like over 5,000 friends on there.
Well, I started deleting people.
When do you anticipate bringing out?
Letter from a Mistress?
Yes.
We're working on that now. So we're probably, I want to say April-ish, probably late April. We'll probably do it, maybe early May. I don't want to go into Mother's Day weekend. I try to do something like that. I did Father's Day weekend before Mother's Day weekend. We'll figure it out probably March. I want to do probably late March, maybe April, because I don't even want to play with the snow, so we don't even like that March, that April, that mid-April, probably after Easter time as we do it, because we do a lot of studying when we do that too. We do research, like, all right, what's coming up, what's around this date, what are we having, what's going to conflict with us, all right, will this go, you know, go with our stuff. I didn't even know it was another play, not to be arrogant, but I didn't know it was another play this past weekend.
It was a couple of plays this past weekend.
A couple plays this past weekend.
Yeah, Guy's Trombone.
That's why I just on a show the other day with Guy's Trombone, and I met the guy who was in it. And I was like, wow, I'm one of those people. I'm not one of those that'll step on your toes.
Right.
Like, well, we got a show. Well, the show must go on.
Right.
We just got stuck because I had a theater already booked. In the last minute, they pulled the rug on us. I had so much adversity. They pulled the rug on us and was like, nope, you ain't got it. I was like, what are we going to do?
Right.
I'm not going another year without a play.
Right.
Yeah, and they just pulled everything from us. So I was like, we gotta find something, and then we end up doing it. Like, it's so much adversity in this stuff. People don't see it. I don't flinch, and that's part of being the captain of the ship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep the calmness of it, and we keep the flow of it. I got my team on. I'm not gonna say I'm always calm. My team keep me calm because I'm ready to flip sometimes.
Yeah, you have to. It does happen. It does happen. But, you know, my advice will always be stay true to yourself.
Absolutely.
Stay humble. You know, continue to give God the praise, because without Him, none of this would be possible.
Absolutely.
And, you know, the devil going to always be busy. He's always going to throw a thorn in your side. And you got to be like, you know, brush it off, you know what I'm saying, and keep it moving, because I've been there, done that, and, you know, prayerfully we'll be able to work together.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and create something great. And I thank you so much. It was like her in this web series.
Because, you know what I mean? You got to find the right video.
I was in a web series called The Man Code with Derek Shaw, and I was also in a web series called Love Happens. So I enjoyed it.
I seen a web series, probably my favorite web series out. Issa Rae wrote it, or or Black and Sexy TV. One of those wrote it, where Issa Rae came from. It's called Roomy Lover Friends. And that was the first web series I seen where I was like, oh, if I'm going to shoot a web series, it got to be like this, because the camera angles with the videographers, because, you know, sometimes those things are pretty bad. Shout out to my man Tony.
In terms of
the camera angles and stuff like that. With the camera angles and things of that nature, like how it's shot, how it looks like TV, instead of posing like
Right.
like
At
quick,
home,
hard cuts that I can shoot on my iPhones. Yeah.
So check out a web series that I am assistant producer called Single and Anxious.
Single and Anxious.
Single and Anxious.
On YouTube.
On YouTube,
How
yes.
many seasons are one?
It's 2 seasons. I joined the team on a 2nd season,
Okay.
and we just finished shooting our 3rd season. So the
How long
premiere
are the
be coming.
episodes?
The episodes is 6.
Okay.
Yep, 6 episodes. So check it out.
How long are they?
I would say, yeah.
I'm watching because I be trying to take it, 'cause, you know, I want to see how long it is. Like those websites, no, but they're really good. You know,
Yeah.
shot right. My friend Tony, he has one called Old Heads. His is shot so good, like.
Right.
But yeah, I'm definitely gonna get in a web series and film. My film got to be right, so I'm gonna pitch mine to somebody. I'm gonna take Clayton's thing and I'm gonna come in there and tape and say, "Hello, hey, I'm right now. We're on a recorded line right now.
You don't know?
NDA.
Yes.
I'm about to share to you my pitch.
Right.
I'm gonna be doing that from now on.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's an NDA. We're gonna have it. I'm signing you, telling we're gonna discuss such and such day. You have to sign this in order for us to discuss my. I'm doing that from now on because
Right.
I'm big on contracts. Everybody gets a contract. from
Contract,
me.
absolutely.
They call me Diddy when it comes to the contracts. I put everything. My contracts are crazy. Like for my actors, you have to come off book. If you don't come off book about time I give it to you, that's $300 fine off of your thing, and then it's $50 a day every day after until you get on book.
Well, that's motivation.
Yeah, you don't know? That's definitely motivation. Absolutely.
I give them the script like they started October. I gave them the script in July, so you got plenty of time.
That's how me too. I give them plenty of time. They be like, for each other. I'm like, listen. I need y'all to be right. You know?
First one on.
Yeah, you was the
I feel
first
like being
one.
off book as an actor, I always come off book. When I used to act with Walter and Ronnie and them, I remember the first time because Ronnie and them are really good. So I was like, yo, I get to act with them. I'm coming off book.
Right.
You set the tone with everybody. When they see you off book, then you can really, the acting can come about. Because, you know, this
Right.
acting thing is
So I definitely see much success in your future.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for coming on the Real Recognized
so
Real
much.
Show and
Thank you.
sharing your story.
Appreciate
I need you to come back. When you get big, not
Right.
if you get
Right.
big.
Yeah.
Don't act like you can't come back on our
No,
show because we might
I'll
be
be
still
back.
sitting here unless we blow up too.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Okay.
Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm big on speaking things in existence. So
Right,
this is
absolutely.
going on, and I know you guys are going places, but I'm never too big for nothing. I will
Yeah.
come back and we can talk about every play. I appreciate
Yes.
this platform. I appreciate you guys.
And sorry we didn't have the cast in, before the production, but
We'll work it
we're
out
going to
next
have,
time.
yeah, definitely. Next time, remember us because we want to follow you through your journey.
Absolutely.
And we're here for anything that you might need. Yes, such an influence.
That was my guy. Yes.
Dora, long live Dora, yes,
Last
miss
time
him.
when Dora came before we wrap up, Dora was like, he came to Twisted. He was like, I can't believe it. Like, you're really a playwright. Like, this is really what you're destined to do. Like, you got it right. This is so good. I was like, all right.
And he's such a jokester, you know.
cracking
It's like
up.
the play he came, my last play that he came to, my first one, Olivia Lawson turned out, he gave me kudos on it too. And then we taking a picture. He's behind me with the peace sign, my head and everything. And I'm like, and an awesome ball player,
Amazing ball player.
Yes, amazing. So we want to I'm gonna thank you again from all the family, the Dumas family, for doing this because you didn't have to,
Right.
for allowing them to come in and just presenting them and honoring Dorian when it was your time to shine,
Right.
but you still found, in your heart to honor him, and we want to thank you for that.
No problem.
So thank you again for
you so much.
being on the Real Recognized Real, and we want to go out with the song. Living my best life because that's what we're doing right now, okay?
Yes, we are.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Next month we're going to have a fabulous show for you guys. The Holiday Jam, where we're going to have different artists come in, spoken word, rap, R&B, dance, and we're going to give you a nice Christmas show. So make sure you guys,
Tune again,
And-
December the 11th, 7 p.m.
Yes, make sure you tune in, and we want to thank you again for tuning in tonight. Please share this video, like our page, Real Recognize Real, as well as Philly Hot Radio, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Philly Hot Radio.